Hey, AJ, Mike in Rochester. So preseason games. You're coming out of college. That's the way you kind of operate there. Do you see, I won't say advantages because of what it's been like, but of prepping for a season without, that's something you've never had in terms of preseason. Do you see anything like that that isn't as bad for a guy coming right out of college?
I mean, for everyone in my situation, just kind of coming out of college and not having the preseason, we could go back and we don't even have OTAs or a real physical rookie mini-camp. And so we got those kind of taken away from us, but everyone's kind of adjusting and everyone's working through it. And we're not the only rookies in the league that are dealing with this. And so it's just kind of having to be able to be adaptable and adjusting to the current situation.
And in terms of coming up with ways to be competitive and still be safe and still be healthy and all those things, do you sense that is ramping up at training camp? I know it's your first experience with this, but do you sense it like ways the guys are coming up with competition?
Oh yeah, no, I can definitely feel that. And Coach McDermott's trying to create a competitive environment so that we can push each other to get better because obviously, like you said, the preseason is just not going to happen. And so we won't be able to compete against other people, and we've got to do it ourselves.
Thanks.
Hey, AJ, Sal Majorana in Rochester. Good to see you. I'm wondering if you could kind of take us back to the Von Miller experience and how did you procure an invitation to that, and just maybe share us a few thoughts on what you learned and what it was all like doing that with those guys.
So I originally saw it because I've seen it in the past where Von Miller's posted things about his Pass Rush Summit that he does every year. And I saw the link to it this year, and he put on his Instagram and said college and pro guys DM him for an invitation. And so I had sent him a DM and asked him if I could join in and learn from all the vets and basically all the legends that they have in that little chat. And I got to watch and learn and listen to some great guys in there, some accomplished guys teach me their ways of pass rushing and different ways to improve yourself and what to look for.
Was there anything in particular that you took away from it? Maybe a technique or just a mental thought, something like that?
One thing I was trying to learn at the time was the cross chop move. And then they explained a lot of information on how Aaron Donald approaches it and how his footwork and his hands and everything like that. And a lot of the stuff they talked about I knew, but it just went in further depth. They had a further, deeper knowledge, and mine was just basically scratching the surface compared to theirs. And so they helped me improve some things that I thought I was already pretty decent at.
Thank you.
Hey, AJ, Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio here. Back-to-back Sals. Don't get confused covering the team here. Hey, I want to ask you about walking into a defensive end room that between Mario and Jerry and Trent has 24 years experience, and here you come from college. A, what have you learned from them, and how have they been with you on the field as far as learning and things like that? But also, how do you fit in with guys like that when, everybody around you is a grown man, married with families and things like that?
They've helped me a lot on the field. I mean, when it comes to just having experience, I mean, those guys, they've been through every possible situation. And when it comes to playing football, and they're talking to me about tracks, they're talking to me about aggressive and passive sets and all those different type of things to look for and how you have to react at a split second and stuff like that. And so they're explaining all these things to me while we're out on the field. And then when we get into the meeting room, Coach Washington does an amazing job at giving us the correct information and teaching it to us. And then the older guys and the vets have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge just to kind of reinforce what he's been saying. And so I've been very fortunate, if anything, to have the vets like these guys around.
What about off the field and fitting in, just as a person and a human being with guys in your position group that are just, advanced stages in life, basically?
Yeah. I think a lot of them right now are here alone because it's during quarantine, or not during quarantine, it's during training camp time. And so they're typically away from their families. And I think for them to try to keep their consistency, a lot of them have been doing that. And then their families are going to travel up here once training camp is finished up with. But I've got to spend some time with a couple of them and go out to dinner with a couple groups of guys. And I wish we could just do it more often because everything's kind of still closed down, and it's kind of it's not I'm trying to think of the word. It's not recommended, I guess, to go out and be in the public and eat, because we want to keep everyone as healthy as possible.
Thanks, AJ.
Hey, AJ, Matt Perino from Syracuse.com. We talked to Leslie last week, and he told us how well you did in the Zoom environment and paying attention to the details. And I was curious how you were able to transition from the virtual environment to the field the last few weeks, and if there's been any roadblocks or early successes as you've started pads done.
I mean, there's 100% an acclimation period when it comes to just kind of switching over to putting full pads on and getting into the physicality of it. It's just a different level from college, and something I need to kind of meet and do well with. But once kind of that adjustment period passed, I think things will be going well, and all those things will be taken care of at that point.
Has there been anything that surprised you so far in your first NFL training camp?
I honestly, I wouldn't say necessarily surprised, just because everything's kind of dialed back. We're not having to do. We have certain times that we're allowed to come in the building because of the testing and all the different availability, and things are kind of built around stuff like that. And so nothing's really kind of surprising. If anything, it's kind of dialed down a little bit to where I'm surprised that it's like that.
Thanks, AJ.
Yes, AJ. Good morning. George Radney, Challenger Community News. Question for you today is, how is the mental side of being in meetings from like 7 a.m., having almost 12-hour days? It seems like as soon as you get home, and next thing you know, you're back there at the complex and you're back into practicing. And how is it being able to get into the hitting again, since you haven't really hit in quite some time?
Well, it's definitely been a change. Just trying. I mean, it's very similar, kind of being in college again. Just with the current situation, with all the different things being held, and going to football during the day, and then just kind of taking it easy at night when it's time, because it's already about bedtime by the time you get home and you want to relax and just kind of put your feet up a little bit. So these long days are really kind of nothing new, but the transition into putting pads on and to hitting, it's been good, and it's really nice to be back out on the field and kind of to let some aggression out and use some physicality for a change, and it's been a good transition so far.
Great, thank you, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
Hey, AJ, hope you're doing well. Thanks for doing this. You just kind of mentioned how you were a little surprised at, I guess, how dialed back things are because of everything that's going on. For you personally, are you I want to ease into the situation and kind of, get my feet wet and then slowly progress kind of guy? Or are you more of a trial by fire, just throw me into the deep end and see how I do kind of player?
I would have to say just kind of the middle of both. I would like to know what's going on before I go in, but I also don't want to wait and let other people take opportunities that I could take myself. And just kind of, I guess just kind of both. I think that would be the best description for that.
Thank
you. AJ, good morning. Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, man. You are the defensive gift of the draft. Basically, dealing with COVID and everything like that. How quickly have you picked up on this defense?
I would say it's going well. Obviously from all the mentals and all the Zoom meetings from going on, I kind of had a head start when it comes to just looking at the plays. But when it comes to physical reps, we've been kind of overloading it and trying to get as many as we can in, because our time is so condensed.
Okay. And with that being said, are people underestimating the impact that you could bring to a team?
I don't know about underestimating. I think it's something that I have to prove, something that I have to put on tape, and something that I have to show people.
Well, we appreciate that. Can't wait to see you out there. Good luck and the best to you.
Thank you.
Hey, AJ, John Scott from Spectrum News. Good to see you. Wanted to ask you about your flexibility and diving into an NFL playbook and playing multiple spots and the challenges that presents.
The Coach Washington has been really emphasizing learning all four spots on the defensive line. And so I've been moving from N to the 1 to the 3 to, I mean, every position on the line you can think of. That's where I've been playing, and I'm trying to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm sure you guys have heard that 100 times from around here, and that's really what's trying to happen. Though, is I'm being put in situations where I haven't really been put in before, and trying to learn and improve from on those to make me a more versatile player across the line.
In college, where were you primarily? What was the main things you were asked to do?
We were a 2-gap defense in college. And so a lot of times it would be whether just setting the edge or closing down the gaps and trying to rush from heavy techniques.
Cool. Thanks.
Hey, AJ, Jenna Cottrell, thanks for doing this. Just a quick thing. You mentioned some of the guys earlier, Jerry, some of the guys like that, Trent. Is there a player in particular that you've really kind of attached with or has taken under your wing, and just someone you kind of view as a mentor?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I would have to say all those older guys. I mean, that includes like a Trent, Mario, and Jerry, all the guys who have been accomplished vets. I mean, they've all been very kind and generous to me when it comes to just sharing knowledge and trying to teach me as much as they can as well.
I guess also just how challenging is it to kind of build those relationships, considering there was such a strange off season and coming into this, you really were only meeting guys over Zoom?
Yeah, no, it was kind of crazy. I mean, when we all first met in person, everyone was like knuckle bumping and saying, "Nice to meet you finally," and everything, because we've known each other for the past 4 months, but we haven't got to see any of them. So it was pretty nice to meet all the guys finally.
Thank you.
AJ, Alexa Ross from CBS in Rochester. Congratulations. Welcome. My question for you is, you are new to this defensive line room, as is Eric Washington, but he's no stranger to the McDermott defense. How have you kind of seen the way he's meshed with you, the older guys, things like that?
I mean, Coach Washington has made it known he's going to give us his best effort every single day. And, I mean, he's done that every single day. And I don't know if you guys have met him or talked to him, but, I mean, he means business a lot of the time. And he gets you kind of riled up and makes you want to play for him. And so I really like having Coach Washington as my coach, and I'm sure the older guys feel the same way, because he's going to push us to be our best selves.